All right, ready for this? Hi, guys. Welcome to Truth or Talk. I am Virstyne, and I'm here with Mekel Kassanova, the one and only. We had to redo our. We had an interview before. How long was it? Like a month ago? We had
A
to redo
month
it.
and a half ago, I
A
think.
month and a
Yeah.
half, and our
Yeah.
busy lives and schedules have have made it so we haven't been able to do it now. But I'm excited. So last time I spoke to you, you were interviewing people, right, as well? You were starting to interview
Yes.
people. Who have you interviewed?
Thus far, I've done interviews with the amazing Lucas, conservative Mexican.
Oh, you interviewed him?
Uh,
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't see that one.
Yep. Brandon Tatum. Pretty soon, I'm gonna have Kevin from Kevin's Corner. And
Yeah.
then this weekend, I'm actually gonna be having a new YouTuber, a new conservative YouTuber from Florida, Mike Nificent.
Oh,
And
what? Let
yeah.
me know. Send me the link. I mean, I
Will
know
do.
Kevin and I know conservative Mexican. They're both bomb. I like them a lot. There's a lot of good people out there that's coming out.
Yeah, definitely, definitely, and and it's really helping me in my journey of understanding politics and what's actually going on. The deep state and just asking questions because I've said on many of my videos, I was raised to never talk politics and just vote Democrat and never ask any questions. And
Yeah.
since I've been paying attention to things more so in the last year and a half since Trump came into office. I've just been like, okay, a lot of things don't make sense.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, definitely. Nothing can stop an idea whose time has come, and I think the time is here. And I think the spirit is in the ether for people to wake up. People are waking up for different reasons. And so let me just, I asked everybody this: how long have you been on the Democratic plantation for? When are you leaving?
let's
Or when
see.
did you leave? Or, you know, were you
Let's
always on it?
see.
Were you never on it?
Um, I'm okay. So I'm 29, going on 30. I think I stopped being on the plantation when I was a week from turning 29. So 6 months
So,
ago.
6 months ago?
6, 7 months
That's
ago.
good. That's good. That's cool. So how do you feel? What has it been like
Um,
for you? And what was your moment? I
my
kind of.
well, like my turning point, or my moment was my friend Amanda. She basically, like, I kept seeing her post stuff like MAGA and Red Pill and Deep State and false flags, and I'm one day I just had to ask her. I'm like, Amanda, what the hell are you talking about? And then she just took me down this rabbit hole that and I'm like, okay, this is a wild ride. It's opening my eyes to a lot of things. And she one of the things she always kept telling me was like, stop with victim mentality. And it just
Yeah.
once I started understanding, I'm not a victim. If I want to achieve something, there's nothing stopping me from doing it other than myself. And so, with her constantly, I mean, I wasn't even diving down the rabbit hole. I'd say she just kicked me off the mountain, Spartan style. And I was like, whoa, who's George Soros? Who are the Rothschilds? Who's
Yeah,
all
yeah.
this?
You know,
So,
it's funny because I think that even though you say she kicked you down the rabbit hole, I think the choice was ultimately yours because you can't really awaken anybody unless they want to be awoken. You can't feed people, you can't feed in a conscious person pills. You know what I mean? You have to consciously take them. So, A, she's a great friend. And B, you must have a lot of respect for her because, there are a lot of people that I've tried to tell stuff and wake up and it's not always it's not always successful. Usually a lot of times it goes the other way where they think you're crazy and they don't want to be your friend anymore. um, and then through the years with certain things I've re-examined how I've approached people, and
mhm.
sometimes it works and then sometimes they're just people that are they're so comfortable in their what's the word I'm looking for, servant slavery mentality, slave mentality.
The echo chambers.
The echo chambers, the slave mentality, the groupthink, the you know, the not taking responsibility. Because with victim mentality too, what people get out of it is they're not they're allowed not to take responsibility, right? They have people feed them stuff. It's like pets, right? Like the Democratic Party, I think, uses a lot of identity politics for people, so they can keep them as pets. Yeah. Now, if you're a Democrat and you're listening to, I'm not saying that you're a Democrat and you're intentionally doing this on purpose, like thinking that you want to own black people as pets. But I guess what I'm saying is like, people love their pets.
Yeah.
But they think that, their pets. We're in a society where if you're dependent on your owner as a pet, you can't really survive. Now, there are animals that can go out in the wild, and if they're taught to be independent from an early stage in life, then they can, what am I trying to say? They're taught to be independent from an early stage in life, then they can fend for themselves, and they don't need an owner, and they know how to hunt, right? They know how to get food, and they can just, they have all their needs met in the wild. So, with this kind of modus operandi that I've been figuring out with the Democratic Party, is that they operate by keeping people like pets, like slaves, like in fear, in disempowerment, and through that, when somebody's in that stage, you can't. What am I trying to say? When somebody's in that stage of disempowerment, they're easy to manipulate, basically, for whatever you want them to. Forever you want them to do for you, or however you want them to serve you, So if you need their votes, right? Do you need them to stay below you so you can feel better about yourself? Do you need them to, whatever? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. I was gonna say, like, it really is about subjugation, and in the Democratic Party, they have their select group of people to keep, minorities, the black community in check. That's why we have people like Maxine Waters and Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson, to feed a narrative, to keep people, ignorant. And there's just so much that, I've been looking into that's been done to just dumb down the black community and minorities as a whole to keep them subjugated. I was like, wow, it's the further down that rabbit hole you get, and you go, and then you see what's being done and why, it's mind-blowing. And it can either terrify you to the point of not doing anything, or terrify you to become, like a truther. Or you want to know, like, more of what's going on, not only just out of curiosity and for your own safety, but also to see if you can help awaken others. And like you said, like, a lot of people,
you feel like it's an obligation, right? Don't you?
Yeah.
Because like, life can be so much better. Our existence as human beings can be so much better. Sorry, I'm trying to drink this, like, thing of bone broth before. Yay. Oh, what the hell? What is that? I guess that's the collagen? I don't know. Anyway. Anyway, sorry. So I lost my train of thought. We were talking about, like, you were talking about how it can make you a truther, it can make you feel obligated, right?
Yeah.
Most definitely. I was talking to you before we started. I was saying I had to go back home to Los Angeles. It was very weird having to do that. And I actually got into a fight with one of my friends that I've been friends with for years, and over this victim mentality stuff. And it was very weird because I didn't even see it coming. Like how you're fighting with somebody, and you, like, it escalates. You say something, or they say something, then they say something, you say something, it keeps going, and then it just goes crazy. I swear, I didn't even see it coming. So this is just such weird to me. And we were talking about, like, victim mentality And he's Asian, by the way, too. So he wasn't even like black. But we were talking about black people and the victim mentality. And he was like, well, there's some black people that, they've been, slavery, and they have that, it's been hard for them. And I was like, that's bullshit. You know why? Because they're people that like come from different countries and don't even know English and whip our butts on every level. Yeah. Including other black people that are African. Okay? So don't even like give me that. Don't even give that, give me that crap. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, and then I forgot something else, and then I had a counter argument to that, and then he was like, you always do this, and you always have something to prove. And I'm just like, look, I'm not going to sit down and watch you. Like, I'm not trying to start an argument, but I'm sorry. But I'm not trying to start an argument, but I'm also not going to, like, tiptoe around conversation just to make you uncomfortable. I mean, just to make you comfortable. And I'm not going to, like, if I disagree with you with something, I'm going to say something. I'm not going to just, like, hold my tongue. And I'm not trying to... I wasn't trying to cause a ruckus. I wasn't trying to, but I'm just like that, I don't agree. And like, here's a different point of view. So he got mad and he just like left the restaurant. And I was just like, I'm like, I can't believe you're even that mad at me, just for having a difference of opinion. So there's part of me that kind of thinks that maybe it's pent up, but because maybe he's seen a lot of the stuff that I posted on my wall. He's a wonderful person, but I think I brought that up, I guess, to say that people get so challenged by now, like, especially this era that we're in life right now, where everybody's so sensitive, but I think people get so challenged now by people that have a different point of view. Yeah. And there's people that they don't know really how to articulate how they feel about that.
And that's one of the things I've noticed with, especially this current generation of people, that critical thinking is almost a dead art. It's almost entirely gone. And then there's the intolerance, where if it's not part of groupthink, they don't want to accept it in any way. Like, there's no sense of objectivity. And I like to fall back on like what Jordan B. Peterson said. You have to risk being offensive if you want to get anywhere or actually come, Are you
referring to the Kathy Newman interview?
Yeah.
That was amazing. I can't stand her. She's so mean. She's so mean, and she's so like, she's relentless, she's mean, and she's very like tunnel visioned, you know? Like, if I have a conversation, even when I start this series, I had one guy, was it the first guy? It may have been the first guy that I had on. His name was Alvin. I forgot his last name. And we disagree with each other. But I invited him on to talk to him. I wasn't, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to invite somebody on my show and just, like, rip them apart, you know? I'm going to have a conversation, and, So I think it went well. It was a respectful conversation, and, but there are people that, like, they invite you and they, like, booby trap you, and she's just one of those people. So it was great to see her get, I've seen her, like, be mean to other people too, like that. So it was really good to see her ass get handed to her like that. It was awesome. In a very classy way, in a very classy, intellectual way, right?
Yeah. Like, it's definitely, I feel like I've taken so much from just, like, I've watched that whole scene so many times. I'm like, I wish I could just, like, meet Jordan Peterson and just study him, because the guy is
he's brilliant. Yeah, he's on fire. He's on fire. I mean, one of the best things you can do when you like somebody is just find out who their influences are and then study that.
Yeah.
So I got, I haven't finished it, but I got the book on postmodernism, understanding postmodernism. I found actually an audio version on YouTube, on the internet somewhere. So I have that. I'm so sorry. What was I going to say? Yeah. I like listening to his lectures, and I I was listening to him talk about postmodernism, and it really gives me an understanding of the SJW mentality and where that's coming from. And he's like a real psychologist. I feel like also they're just a lot of very textbook psychologists, that I don't know, they don't delve as deep as he seems to go, and I think he seems to really care about people,
Yeah.
And I wish I had him as a teacher in college, but then at the same time, I don't think I was ready for somebody like that. I think I wouldn't have recognized it,
Yeah.
It's the thing.
I agree. And aside from Jordan B. Peterson, like another person or another group of people that have actually been very influential on the way that I've come to shape my thoughts and my perspective and my debating skills, have definitely been J.C. Lee Peterson. There's Thomas Sowell, great mind. Great mind.
Yeah, for sure. I've seen some of his stuff too.
And then Larry Elder, which is amazing because Amazing Lucas actually got to meet him a couple weeks ago, and I was like, dude, I'm so jealous.
Was that amazing? Did you say it was amazing?
I love that guy's energy. Like, I wish I could have that 24/7.
What, Larry Elder or Amazing Lucas?
Amazing Lucas.
Yeah, I interviewed him and I called him up. I was like, "How are you?" He's like, "Amazing!" You're silly. Yeah, he's really cool. We're both from LA too, so we kind of bonded on that issue. He's very he's a cool guy. I liked a lot. I mean, I'm loving you. I'm loving everybody. I like talking to people, so I always have fun. What was I going to say? We were talking about Larry Elder, all these great minds. And there's more. I'm always finding somebody, trying to expand my point of view. And I think that it's important, especially, it's just so weird. I think about growing up and looking at Republicans as like this alien species.
Yeah.
Like, especially black Republicans. I know you had some friends that were black Republicans, but I wasn't that passionate about politics. But I'd just be like, "You're a Republican? Okay, well, let's just talk about basketball." Like, or, I mean, we would find other things to bond on, but it was never like this. Like, "You're a terrible person. You're a racist. You need to." That was never like any of that. So, how's your family taking this? Have you come out? Have you told them? Do they know that you're gone off the plantation?
A lot of my family knows. My mother, who's actually a former liberal Democrat, now she's a Republican. She's fully she's over here like, "Wow, you're a Trump supporter?" I'm like, "Yes." I said, I like Trump. I like everything about the Republican Party, but I'm definitely conservative in my values. So she's cool with it. My dad, I'm not really too sure where my dad falls. I know he's kind of an Obama lover, and I'm like, yeah, Obama-loving libtard that you are.
Well, you know what? I've learned to be forgiving with this, especially with my parents. My parents had me late, so my parents are in their mid-70s, right? Mm-hmm. And I think for them, and for a lot of people, but I think especially the older generation, Obama was like a symbol. He was like an avatar for change and freedom and possibility that they never thought they'd see in their lifetime. So I think a lot of the stuff that we were talking about, they would actually agree with. Yeah. And my dad has always been awake in a lot of ways, but like I can't talk about Obama. Like he would say when I was a kid, and he didn't really have any way of really proving it to me, so I was just like, all right. But he would like, why are all the like Planned Parenthoods in the black neighborhoods? It seems like they're like there for a reason. He would always be like doing conspiracy, like saying stuff. And as a kid, I didn't even care. I was like, yeah, I guess. I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like I remember seeing him go over my head. He would say stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So I think he would vibe with a lot of the stuff. But on the other hand, he's just, when it comes to Obama, man, everybody has their blind spots, though.
Yeah.
This is one thing, too, that I'm learning about in the truth movement is that everybody, they have their blind spots. Like, you know, they might be aware of one thing but it's totally blind to another, and that blindness could either having A, to do with them just being lazy and not wanting to research, and B, like them having a personal connection to something, and another layer of their paradigm being shattered that it's going to be too hard for them to come to terms with, so they just rather avoid it, you know.
Yeah. And I have that with like one of my I think all my siblings except for one are all, you know, Democratic liberals. My one brother who's super, and he's like knee deep into Black Lives Matter. He was actually
It's a
one
cult.
of the yeah,
It's a cult.
it really is. He's actually one of the former PR people for the whole Ferguson shooting, and he wrote a book about it. He got fired because they found out his criminal past, and you know, his whole life has been nothing more than him being a victim. And so I can understand him being all part of like the Black Lives Matter, because it's like, yeah, you know, I think I'm a victim. They're saying we are victims. It's just self-validation. It's false validation.
Well, yeah, they don't get to take responsibility for a lot of the choices they made in their life. You know, and there are people, I say that people, they're like, oh, you're shaming me. But it's like, you know, same thing goes with those crazy ass radical, excuse my language, I'm trying to stop. The crazy ass, I'm going to say it anyway, radical feminists, the MGTOW people, the white supremacists, the black supremacists, they're all extremities of hate.
Yeah.
And that hate, it seems, for me, it seems like, you know, the whites blame the Jews, the blacks, they blame the whites, the men blame the women blame the men. And, you know, I'm not saying that there's not racism, and I'm not saying there's not sexism, but there's some people that that keep finding themselves in the same situation because of the choices they make. And if they were to stop making certain choices, then, you know, their life would be better. And I think a lot of people kind of need to be, I think a lot of people do this unconsciously, but they need to be made aware of the pattern that they're creating for themselves.
Yeah, they definitely do. And, you know, that's one of the things I see with a lot of my friends. It's just everything is someone else's fault. You know, there's never any personal accountability for anything. Their finances, their life choices, their career choices.
Oh, and same thing with the Fat Pride movement. That stuff too. It's all that stuff. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating. It's like, wow, you can't. I'm like, you can't continue to be a victim. Like, what are you, a professional victim? And they're like, well, it's not my fault. I'm like, so where's your accountability at any point with any of this?
Yeah. Their developments arrested. And this is also the thing, too, that I'm starting to, like, as I kind of ponder on the ideologies of the Democratic and the Republican Party. The Democratic's modus operandi seems to be rooted in people that don't take responsibility and not taking responsibility and making other people pay for your mistakes and for your losses. And then the Republican Party seems to, if I had to generalize, right, I know there's more to it, but the Republican Party seems to be more about personal responsibility. And even like with like the gun thing, it's like they want the police to come and like save them. And I'm just like, but... Like, how long is it going to take the police to get to your house? Like, I was in the riots. I've been in this situation where the city was just in chaos and police weren't able to come. You know, I've called 911 and it was busy. Like, when does that happen? Like, people, and I think that the people that make assumptions or that are so like anti-gun like that are just very detached. Yeah. And they've never really, I don't think they've had to, you know, they kind of live in a fantasy land, you know, in the sense that they live in a fantasy land in the sense that, you know, I mean, how do you think not having a gun is going to be better for you to protect your home than having a gun? They don't trust themselves maybe too. I don't know.
Yeah, you know? I think it's definitely got to be lack of self-trust. And I mean, and then if if they keep pushing the direction they're going, we're gonna start emulating the UK. Like I have friends in the UK, they're like, man, I can't even have scissors, a knife, because now it's considered a weapon. I'm like, this is insane.
How do they butter their crumpets? How do they butter their bread?
It's like I'm guessing they got to use their
They have to
big
use
finger
a
or something.
spoon. They have to use a spoon to butter their bread. That's crazy. Yeah, I heard that they banned knives in England. I was like, I meant to ask this guy that I talked to England. I forgot. That's what I wanted to ask him. They ban knives for real?
Mm-hmm.
Are they banning knives or have they did it?
I think they've already done it because they're doing a lot of confiscations. There are stations set up for you to go and drop them off in. Yeah.
That's retarded. That's the most. I would buy more. You know what? I go to that station and just like when nobody's looking, I'll just take some knives.
Right? I mean, it's
like a drop box or something. Like, what if somebody breaks into the drop box and like steals the knives?
I mean, like, really, where has society gotten to that we gotta ban, like, kitchenware knives? Like, a freaking butter knife is now considered a weapon. Like, what? It's stuff like that that's insane. But, like, this whole, and I know this is shifting topics, but, like, the whole, if you look at things that are, like, a serious threat, like that whole woman that did the YouTube shooting, how quickly did that go away?
Oh, somebody shot her?
No, remember she killed herself, but like how quickly did the media,
I didn't get all the details on that. Oh, because they wanted her to be white. And they found out she wasn't white, right? And they're just like, oh, right?
I mean,
that was the deal? Because I saw somebody doctored up a picture of her to make her look whiter than she was.
Yeah, and they changed her eye color to, I think it was like the New York Observer or something like that. I was like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just done with the media. Like they can suck a big fat like French fry stick. Like they can just fucking. I'm done with them. I'm so done. Yeah, I mean, I'm not even surprised. I'm not like nothing surprises me anymore. But oh man, like yeah, when it doesn't fit their narrative, they want to.
I have a friend that's like super big on gun control, and she wants like all of them like banned and everything. She's like, yeah, because white males are going around shooting up places. I was like, oh, okay, so we should ban the guns because of white males. She's like, yeah, get rid of the AR-15 and we need to ban and boycott the NRA. I said, oh, okay, so what about the YouTube shooting? We had a Middle Eastern woman. She was a feminist. She was an animal rights activist. She was a vegan. And she shot up the place with, I think, Smith & Wesson. So I was like, okay, so then we need to boycott PETA. We need to ban veganism. And feminists, yeah, that's a terrorist group like the NRA.
Yeah, totally.
And she's like, well, that's just one instance. I'm like,
it's just one because if it were the other way around, then they would have just ridden that like one incident to like the grave, right? Like it's how the hypocrisy is the thing that's also killing me since this election. It's like on the other side, like they'll say something and then when you point to them, it's like 10 times worse, And I'm not, I'm just saying at this point in history, there just seems to be more corruption on the Democratic side.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that Republicans are beyond that, because they're, because it's human nature. It's it's shadiness, but it's just that, yeah. I trace it back to the Clintons and the Clinton-Obama-Bush crime ring,
Yeah.
And this is why there's so much corruption on that side. Because I honestly see a need for both sides. Like, I think that conservatism is cool because if you need roots and you need like core values to be able to stay grounded, but you also need progressivism and able to evolve and to get better. But if one side is out of balance, then it becomes chaotic, like yin and yang.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And right now, like Democratic is a yin. and Republicans is like yang. So right now there's too much yin. It's too unbalanced right now.
Yeah. I heard some people say that, that we need to get rid of both parties and have a anarchy system. I'm like, what good would that do?
There's some. I'm not for big government. And this is where I need to do more research on, different political ideologies and stuff, because I'm not really as well versed as I can be. Now I have an interest in doing that, and I'm slowly I just bought the Communist Manifesto, and I don't vibe with communism really, but I just want to know more of the details and stuff, just to know,
Mm-hmm.
Every once in a while you do come across a leftist that's pretty well read. It's very rare, but I will die if I let them beat me, you know what I mean? Or maybe I will agree with some other ideas. I'm open to being wrong or not. I'm not totally closed, but I just I want to understand. I watched this documentary on Mao. It's a really good one on YouTube, and it's crazy, and it's weird because I see the same thing starting to happen in this country again. So it's kind of freaky, because I'm a xenophile. I like Chinese stuff, and culture and language and philosophy, and I think it's really cool. But their consciousness is super suppressed. Super they're almost like in the Matrix with the little plugs. They're almost there. They're like a step away. And Chinese people are wonderful people. I'm not dogging the Chinese people at all, but their government and what they've done. Have you heard about the organ harvesting that's going on over there?
I've heard bits and pieces, but I'm not fully versed in it. So.
Oh man, that shit's gnarly. Oh man. Well, do you know about Falun Gong, Falun Dafa?
No.
It's like a spiritual practice, like meditation, and I don't know if there's chanting involved. So at first it was introduced, it was, I guess, for people in royalty, and then there's an organization that came out and started introducing it to the society. And the government commented on it, was like, oh, this is great. It's making people more organized. It's making them work together. But when you are meditating and doing all that stuff and you go in, one way to break the cult mentality is to go in, right? So they started asking questions about the government. They started standing up. And then the government was like, oh, no. So then they made it a crime. So they've been imprisoning people that have been practicing it. And it's, because it's the only freedom that they have spiritually. It's very sacred to them. So they'll practice it in private. Even members in the government, it's gone up into members in the government that are practicing it, right? So they'll jail them if they find out they're practicing Falun Gong, and then they'll harvest their organs. But check this out. This is how they found out they were harvesting their organs. There was a member from so usually when you need an organ, you're on a donor list, and that you can be on a donor list for a few years, right? You need a heart, a kidney, an organ, whatever. So I guess somebody, I forgot who, I'll send you the link to the documentary, and I guess for people that are watching, I can put a couple of documentaries on YouTube if you guys want to watch it. But they found, so this one person, I forgot what it was, but they needed an organ, right? And they contacted this one organization, and they're like, yeah, we can have one for you in a week or whatever. And they're like, what? How do you have such, supply? So human rights organizations kind of went in and undercover, and they were able to find out and figure out that that they were getting them from prisoners and homeless people and Falun Gong practitioners. And what's even worse is they'll harvest their organs while they're alive, without anesthesia. So,
serious?
Yeah, it's crazy. They'll just be they'll say oh, do you renounce Falun Dafa, and they'll say no, and then they'll say well, they'll write it down they'll kill them, but then they'll write it down as a suicide, because they'll say they had a chance to renounce, they killed themselves. So it's crazy. But I've been to Hong Kong. I want to go to mainland China. It's very what's the word? It's very cool. China has a really cool history. It's really beautiful, but just just the obsession with materialism, you know, the
Mm-hmm.
pollution. Those are bad factors. I had one of my best friends who's a black guy. He lived in China for 2 years. He has some crazy stories, good and bad. But it's
Okay.
just, I would love to go there and even stay there for a while, but just what's going on in the government. And I tutored a guy who made accessories for Apple, and he was a businessman, and he would go there every once in a while. And he said if something slipped by the government and it got on TV and the public was watching it, they'll turn the TVs off. They'll make the TV go black. Yeah. Because while I was there was a guy that was Chinese, and he escaped. He was blind, and he escaped. He made it into the American embassy somehow. So it like made huge news over there. So the guy's like, I guess, oh, whatever, and he makes it into the embassy, and they didn't want the general public to know about it. So they were started to report the story, and then I guess whoever was in charge realized it, and they turned the TVs black until you know whatever was over. Reporting. It's crazy.
Damn.
Yeah. One more crazy thing. I think I'm scaring people from going to China, but I have to say this. Do you remember Tiananmen Square? I don't know. You might be too young to remember. Do you?
Not that young.
Yeah, I'm like way older though. But
not even. Anyway.
I remember watching that in school. All right. So, but you know of it, right? You know of the incident.
Yeah.
Okay. So a few years ago, some people showed teenagers pictures of the incident, and they didn't know what it was. They're like, "Is this a protest?" They're like, "What is this? Where is this? What country is this? What's going on?" They didn't know because they're not taught it, and they're not allowed to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just been erased from their history.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, man. I don't know. So why did I forgot. Why did I bring up? We were talking about China. I forgot. We were talking about how
You're saying you're scaring people from going there.
I guess it depends on what parts. I guess, you know, I still want to go, but you've just got to be careful.
Yeah.
You know, you can't, like, I have this one friend that, like, he's a hard partier, but he's that dude that parties, and he'll get, like, everyone arrested because they'll do something so stupid and call attention to him. So I was talking to him the other day. He's thinking about going there for some work, whatever. And I was like, look, dude, you can't, like, go over there, like, acting a fool, because they will, like, throw you in jail and cut out your heart while you're alive without anesthesia. You know what I mean? And not even care. Yeah. You like, and just be like, you know, I don't know. Anyway.
I don't think a lot of people here in America, I don't think they realize, like, how good they have it here compared to other places.
Yeah.
Like, oh, man. Like, you go somewhere like China, you go to Japan, you go to, you know, France or Sweden, and you act the way you act here.
Oh, yeah. When I was younger, there was this incident where this guy went to Singapore, and he was stupid. He graffitied somewhere in Singapore, right? And he got thrown in jail. So they were gonna cane him in public, where I guess they tie you up and they beat you in public with a bamboo stick. So it was like a huge controversy. And I was like, yeah, he needs to get caned. I was like, if I'd done that, I don't want to whip my butt, you know, like, they weren't going to kill him, they weren't going to put him in jail, but they were going to cane him. So he's all crying and stuff, and, you know, there was, like, this huge campaign to stop him from getting caned. I think he ended up getting caned. But I'm just like, I bet you won't do it again. You know,
I would hope not. Goodness. I don't know, some people like doing stupid shit. Sorry for cursing.
I don't care. Well, you can curse as much as you want. It's me. It's my biggest vice, and I'm debating whether it's a good or bad thing to have a lot of to curse a lot. I'm not, you know. Anyway, go on. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. It's just like, I think a lot of people, I think it's kind of like a sadistic thing for them. Like, they get off on just being stupid or doing stupid things, and it's like, I don't know what to tell
You
them.
can do stupid things when I'm not around. Like, I'm not going to jail for anybody because they did something stupid like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, have you seen that movie Broke Down Palace?
Yeah, I did.
Like, I'm not like no, because no, I'm not. Oh, I know what I want to. I want to interject this in the conversation because we talked about this last time, and I thought it was interesting.
Okay.
Tell the people about what happened when the Hawaii missile incident happened. Tell them that story.
Oh yeah. So basically, what happened with that was I was up early that morning. I want to say like around 8 something, 8:30 or so. I was playing on my Xbox with some friends there in the military. Next thing I know, like they tell me, they're like, "Hey, Kel, we gotta go." I'm like, "Oh, what's going on? We gotta go." And click, they're off Xbox Live. And the next thing I know is like, going out and you're looking out like the area, like Pearl Harbor area or the beach area. You're seeing a lot of these ships go out. You're seeing, Apache chopters fly overhead. You're seeing fighter jets go out, and you're like, what in the hell is going on? And then next thing you know, you get the alarm on your phone that there's, incoming ballistic missile. This is not a drill. So you're like, okay, what the hell do I do? Because there's no bomb shelters here in Hawaii.
What?
There's none.
Like, you got no basements? Like under the volcanoes or nothing? Like nothing like that?
Well, the only people that actually have...
You got doors in the palm trees? Just kidding.
The only people that actually have any type of, like a shelter or anything is like the governor and, the mayor and whatnot. They have, but the general public, we don't have anything. Oh, wow. And it was interesting. So it's like, I'm over here like, okay. I called my mom. My mom didn't answer because she was sleeping. And I was like, all right. So I got 20 minutes left to live.
Wow. We're laughing about it, but that's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny how, the thing that just started to piss me off, like, not so much as the so-called quote unquote he accidentally pushed the button. Like, I work, I'm a systems analyst. And the type of security stuff that person worked with for the ballistic alarm missile or whatever thing is similar to what I work with. There's no way you're going to press a button. There's a process.
Yeah. I would like to think that there's a process, because if there isn't, we're just screwed,
Yeah. Yeah. So, I find it amazing how the left went so quickly to politicize this. And first thing is to assault Trump. I'm like, what does this have to do with it? What does this have to do with Trump? I'm like, this guy has been shooting and testing rockets for how long now? Kim Jong-un. It wasn't the first time. I personally believe that something was fired. I think we shot it down. And, looking at the current situation where, he's agreed to denuclearize, I think there's probably a proxy war that happened or something went down, and we probably waxed their asses horribly. And they're like, yep, we're done. We give up. But something happened. And it's amazing how the media went quickly to shift the blame to this guy who apparently pressed the button. They fired him, and then they quickly buried it, and then it became a running joke. Like, we got Trevor Noah coming here in a couple weeks.
Boo.
So I can't stand Trevor Noah. We got him coming here, and the tagline for his show is "Warning: Ballistic Trevor" or something incoming. I'm like, jackass.
You know what? But if it was the other way and somebody that wasn't on the left did that shit, they would have been crying. Be like, yeah, that's so insensitive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so un-PC. Get out of here. Yeah, boo. All those Comedy Central dudes. I can't even watch. I've been watching. I've been watching any Hollywood movies. When I want to relax and watch something, if I'm not watching like alternative media, I'll watch like National Geographic stuff, because it's not really. I mean, you know, like with animals, and then sometimes that still gets politicized because then they'll try and put in a little 2 cents about global warming and stuff.
I
Yeah.
thought global warming got debunked.
Yeah, a lot of stuff got debunked, but as long as people have their, well, now it's changed to climate change. But I mean, that's another crazy thing because it's always kind of making its way into popular culture. Like I do some lifting for Lyft, or I work for Lyft, one of my many jobs I have, and they're like, I got an email the other day saying, we're going carbon neutral right now. I'm like, great. Like, you know, just, it's just like this. It's a perfect tool to virtue signal for people that want to look like they're doing good without really doing anything.
That kind of made me think of like, I'm not sure how it is in like California or Texas, but I know out here in Hawaii, it's for stores, they can't sell you plastic bags anymore. And the bags that they do sell you range anywhere from 10 cents to like $3 to $4. And I was like, their whole thing is it's about environmentally friendly things, but I'm like, no, this is for you to turn a profit.
You think so? Maybe. I mean, there's part of me that kind of believes that. I don't know. Only because I'm just like, well, I know that is a huge pollution problem. So
yeah.
I don't know how they're dealing with that as well. Maybe that's, you know, I can see that. There's some things I can compromise on, but at the same time, too, there's always that conspiracy theorist in the back of me that's just like, why are you trying to control me? Why are you telling me what to do? Like, what do you want? What's the real agenda? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think in some parts of America that they have that. At least we're not getting knives banned. That's just crazy. That shit ain't happening here for so many reasons. A, they're not going to get rid of guns.
Well, you heard, I think, was it Delaware or somewhere? They actually did do the ban. They were confiscating guns, and or somewhere up northeast, and I heard it's not going well.
Oh, they tried to do a ban. Yeah, it's not going because it's America. This ain't like, you know, China or some other place that, you know, when I lived in Taiwan, I was talking to some of my older students I was teaching. And first year I taught kids, and second year I taught adults. And the adults I was teaching, first of all, this lady's really smart. She's, you know, had nothing to do with her intelligence, but I think she's just really naive because they don't have, the citizens there aren't allowed to have guns. And the crime, but there's still people that get guns. Like, but you know, the crime rate, the criminals that get guns. There's still robberies and stuff that happens there. The criminals still get guns. You know what I mean? Not the law-abiding citizens. But anyway, I digress. So she was, we were talking about gun control, and then I was like, well, think about it this way. I was like, what will happen if China were to come over and, you know, try to invade you, right? Will the citizens of this country be able to fight back with their guns? You know, because that's what it's for. You know, that's why we have it. So the government can't, you know, take us over. And she's like, well, no, that's okay because America will save us. I was like, you got oil? Like, because America's not coming unless they have a vested interest in helping you.
Yeah.
You know, invested interest in defeating who's ever conquering you. So they're not really gonna come. You got some opium fields? What do you got? What you got? You know what I mean? Like, so she was like, oh, that's interesting. You know, I never really thought about it like that. I mean, I don't know. They're just, I feel like I talk so much smack about China, though. I feel like I'm going to hell. There are a lot of places I want to go in China, though. They have that glass bridge. There's Mount Huashan. There's like the terracotta warriors, the Great Wall. There's other just like landscape that I've seen that's just like, it looks like something on another planet. Like there's this one area by one of their lakes where a certain time of year they have the seaweed, this special type of seaweed, but it turns like red. So it looks like just red grass for like miles. It looks beautiful.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Look at China's. Now I feel bad. I'm going to probably put something in the bottom that has good places to go in China because I feel like I just dog that country. I don't want to become a persona non grata. They're like, you say bad things about China. Like, you cannot come back. You're not coming back.
I get that all the time because, like, when I talk to people, like, people ask me, like, oh, Hawaii is like a paradise, right? I'm like, ha ha, you played yourself. No, it's not.
It's not?
I mean, it's better than a lot of places in, you know, the
Is it
mainland
crowded?
U.S.
Is it crowded?
We have a major immigration problem here.
Is it
Like,
the Japanese people?
No, I mean, they're the majority.
So who are the immigrants there?
People from Micronesia.
Oh, that's right, Tonga and Oceania, right? I'm looking at my map right now. Yeah, because it's usually the people that are closest to the country. That's who the immigrants are.
Yeah. So I mean, we have like the smallest minority here in Hawaii is Hawaiians. They're probably like 2 or 3% of the population. Then you've got there are more Hispanics than Hawaiians out here, which is interesting. But
where do they come from? Do you know? Are they? I'm trying to look at the map. So they would be Mexicans still, probably, right? Because they're closest to Hawaii.
Yeah. So primarily from Texas and California, and then you've got the majority is kind of split between Asian and Filipino, but we've got this massive influx of Micronesians from like the Chukis Islands, Pohnpei. You've got Palauans that are here, and you know the biggest problem that comes with that, and I probably ain't gonna get a lot of flack for saying this, but they bring a lot of problems here to Hawaii. Like we rarely ever have any shootings or anything. I mean, still have gangs out here. You have your Bloods, your Crips, or the super watered down version that we have here in Hawaii. But you know, people fight. They rather fight than shoot. But you've got a lot of Micronesians.
Oh, really? Like this fight?
Yeah, like all the time.
That's a little bit more honorable, I think, in some ways. I don't know. Not that I'm condoning it, but
yeah, you know, it's you know part of the Polynesian way. And then you've got the Micronesians that come here. I mean, they have the highest amounts of muggings, gangs, stabbing. They love stabbing people. Now they've gotten around to
with
shooting
knives.
people.
Maybe you should ban knives.
Definitely. And then the other thing that we never really had a major rape rate out here until they started coming in droves, because in their own culture they do rape a lot of the women and kids and whatnot. It's almost like, and I hate saying it because I know this is going to come back and bite me in the ass for saying it, but it's almost like kind of like a very uncivilized people that are just primitive in a way.
So what makes you think, and I'm not like judging you for saying that, but I'm just trying to get you to think correctly about this. What makes them uncivilized? Why do you think they're uncivilized?
Or lack of Western civilization. I guess you could say they're more tribal.
Okay. I mean, so you say, so you're just saying it's like a culture clash.
Yeah.
Not necessarily one is more moral, but it's more of a culture clash, right? When people talk about like people don't make that distinction too between multiculturalism and diversity.
Yeah.
They collapse the two. Like diversity, like you can be diverse, but you have to have the same ideals of the culture that you're living in. You're going to have a clash.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
And then like the other thing too is they come here, and I guess it's because the U.S. has done like nuclear testing on one of their islands.
Oh man. Go back.
So
Deep
state,
they come, man.
Right?
Creating all these problems.
They come here. They don't have to. A lot of them don't have citizenships. They just come here. They flood in. They get all the welfare. They're the number one group of people here on welfare. They get the financial assistance. They get the housing, and they have this weird obsession with gold and gold teeth. I guess it's a status thing for them. Mm-hmm. So if you see typically a big SUV with rims and all that, it's typically a Micronesian that has it, and then they repopulate I'm not trying to make it sound like they're like animal species or anything, but
Yeah.
they do. Like they have kids. Like if you see one female Micronesian, they usually have 2 to 3 kids before they even 21, which is
It's interesting.
amazing.
It seems like they have the same kind of the same issues as African Americans do and like or black people. I'm gonna say African American. Black people have in LA and other big cities in the mainland of the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
The gold teeth, the rims, having a lot of kids but having difficulty you can have I don't care, you can have as many kids as you want, but if you're struggling to support them, if you're having like needing government assistance to support you, like you really need to rethink about what you're doing, because it's hard on the kids, it's hard on society, it's hard on I don't like to say people can't have kids, but you know what I mean. It's just very it's very taxing.
Yeah.
On so many for so many reasons. But I think too, when you don't have purpose in life, that drives you to kind of leave that lifestyle.
Yeah.
You don't have purpose,
Definitely.
then you make money and you spend it frivolously. You have lots of careless sex, and sex is great. Like, but I'm saying like, don't it's people take it for granted and they don't they're not responsible with it.
Yeah.
And I think too, this is why some people get all heated over the abortion issue, because they don't want to have to take responsibility they just want to have free sex and stuff, and that comes with responsibilities. Like, I can't just, for me as a woman, I can't just have sex with everybody. There are people that do that, and I have even had friends that have done that, but they've had a lot of abortions, or they've had children, and it's been very hard on them, when they're not ready. They had children when they're not ready,
Yeah.
So I don't know, like, there are people, I think a lot of these, as we talked earlier, a lot of these decisions that the left is fighting, or a lot of these ideologies, or just not ideologies, but I guess issues that the left is fighting so hard against, is going to involve them having to kind of take responsibility and take, and a lot of people, they don't want to do that. It's almost as if the left is, their growth is stunted.
Yeah.
Their development is arrested, like their kids, and I wonder how a new party can be created. You know what I mean? Like, if the Democratic Party is losing its power, and maybe there's some people that can take some ideologies from a lot of places to kind of create their own party, right? Because the party is made up of certain ideologies, kind of, sort of. Mm-hmm. Is that how it works?
I believe
I'm
so.
still learning.
Yeah.
I'm still learning, but so if they, kind of create some kind of new party, or maybe independent. I don't know. Like, I just have a lot. I have a lot of reading to do. I'm so behind because I really want to know. I really want to be able to explain this and understand this on a level where before, as you talked about as well, we're just like, we just do it and we just check that. We're like, okay, cha-ching,
Yeah.
Democrat, okay, cha-ching,
But they hate when, I mean, it's like when you break away from it, they hate you. Like, and Kanye, which is amazing to me how people are mad at Kanye for saying some of the things he's been saying lately. And I'm like, if you really followed anything he's been saying over the last couple decades, I guess you'd say, or decades or so, there's nothing surprising about that. He's always been kind of a controversial person or an independent thinker. So there's nothing new about that. But I guess when we've got this controlling, oppressive, politically correct culture, it is.
That's a cult, especially in Hollywood. It's cultish.
Yeah.
It's really a cult.
And it's to the point, like, I mean, I know a lot of people don't like Candace Owens, and I understand she's kind of like a cult of personality in a way. But, I mean, if she's helping people wake up to some of the reality.
Yeah, I mean, I can vibe with that. She's doing her thing. But I also hate the fact that people aren't allowed to criticize her, in a sense.
Yeah, I've
it's becoming like a David Hogg thing.
Yeah.
You know, in a sense where if you disagree with some of the stuff she did in her past, and you want to say something about it, it's like, oh, you can't, like I can say, oh, I respect what she's doing, you know, or some of the stuff that I agree with a lot what she says with some of the stuff she's doing, but I don't agree with her past. And then, but then all of a sudden, like, people want to make all these assumptions about you because you know, you're not falling into that cult of personality like you said, and it's just like, oh, well, I thought we were for independent thought and free thinking.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you know, like, I mean, okay, so John Legend criticized, I mean, Jaime Rez criticized John Legend. So, I mean, what are we doing? Are we, like, not criticizing? Are we not allowed to criticize other black people? Are we only allowed to criticize other black people when they're in a different ideology or mind or party as we? If you can't criticize somebody of our own party? Like, I don't like that either. So, you know, I've also learned, just being a truther, quote unquote, you know, there are a lot of people that I like and I kind of idolize, and I have friends that can't stand them, but I just be like, I'm not going to let that ruin my friendship with a friend. I have to respect them for their point of view. Yeah. And I actually did a video where I was talking about, because of that incident, it's okay to criticize people that's on your team. It's okay. Like, this is how we got into this idea. This is how we got into this predicament in the first place. A lot of people voted for Obama because he's black. I was one of those people, okay? Yeah, it was really hard for me to admit that, you know, I was wrong about him. Mm-hmm. It was hard. And a lot of people still won't admit that today. But I was just like, I really had to be honest with myself. I was like, I just voted for him because he was black. Like, you know, not really. I was like, he's a Democrat, but at the same time, I was like, I want a black person to be president. He's really hot. Like, you know, I would, like, drive around singing the Yes We Can song that Will I Am did, like, be crying and shit. Like, I was in deep. You don't even know. You know, like, I remember when he won, I ran outside my apartment. I was running around in a circle, and this girl that this guy was shagging next door to me, like, ran out. I didn't even know. My friend, who was my neighbor, he was a guy, but he was dating this girl. And she ran out, too, was running around, jumping up and screaming. We didn't even know each other. We were, like, hugging each other and crying and shit. It was crazy. It was crazy. So, I mean, I can laugh about that. You got to, like, forgive yourself, too, you know, when you make decisions like that. Because we're all susceptible to idolization, you know, idolizing somebody. And sometimes I'll even start to idolize somebody, and then they'll do something and then, like, snap me out of it. And I'm like, oh, thank God. Like, I felt like, I'm glad that happened, because I was, you know, I was worshiping. I was too much. You know what I mean? I'm like, they're human. They make mistakes. I forget, you know? So I don't know. Like, I'm a big, you know, I'm a big proponent of letting people be critical. And the thing that makes me really upset too is when people are critical of somebody, everybody just wants to automatically say that they're a hater or that they're jealous. Yeah. And I'm just like, you know, I'm going to need you to think critically. I think that's the last reason. I think that's possible, but I really think that that's the last reason why somebody hates somebody, is just because they're jealous of them or they don't want them to succeed. I think that's crap. People don't like me. I just like, well, they just probably think I'm a bitch. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they don't like me. They, you know, whatever. I'm not like, huh?
I was going to say, I've been called satanic, so.
What? You've made it, man. You've made it. You don't even know.
I know.
You know, I'll be like, I get a lot of nice people that say things to me on my channel, and it's really heartfelt and stuff, and I'll be reading when I can. I can't read all the comments, and of course you can't either, right? It's just overwhelming. Yeah. But sometimes I catch them, and I'll, like, read 3 comments, and then I'll be like, coon, like, okay. And they're like, die nigger die. Like, I'm like, okay, all right, you know, kind of knocks me down a little bit, so it keeps me level-headed, you know, and I have to laugh at it, and it doesn't bother me anymore. But now I'm just like, all right, well, I mean, that's all they have. Yeah. Yeah. That's all they have. So people are going to call you names. People, the only ones I really don't I really like block are like the rape threats, because I've gotten some pretty I don't know if I told you this before, but when I started this channel with my best friend, I had a podcast, and that's how we started. We started doing a lot of conspiratorial stuff and talking about a lot of corruption in the medical industry. So those are the worst. I think out of all the trolls, out of all the people, like I would take like the Black Lives Matter over the medical people any day. Like they're the most horrendous. Like they will say really graphic, vile, like stuff that you should screenshot because they might, you know what I mean? Like you're just like detailed stuff, like what they want to do to you. Like some of the stuff is like really like, wow, you know? But yeah, so those are the only ones that I probably remove. But for the most part, this one guy made a video of me, and I've had to block him 5 times. He'll keep coming back, and then he'll keep the same name. Yeah. I was just like, how many times am I going to have to block you? Because I was letting him comment for a while. And then I'm like, okay, how many times I'm going to let this dude call me a high yellow heifer? I'm over it, you know? I let him stay for a couple months. Like, I was more than generous, you know, for letting him speak his mind and promote his own channel, because he'll say something really insulting, and then he'll leave a link to his own channel. And I was like, okay, whatever, freedom of speech. But then I got to the point, too, where if it's not being productive and, you know, they're just coming to, like, assault me. And, you know, like, sometimes I've blocked a couple people, you know. Yeah. But for the most part, I let people criticize me or, you know, say what they want to say. Yeah. Have you ever had to block anybody? Have you ever had to block anybody?
I've had to block a couple people just because they got to the point where they started going on my social media and then contacting family members and friends and stuff. And I'm like, okay, you're going too far with that.
That's insane. Like, don't these people have a life?
You know, and it's like, I've always, like, I kind of wonder, like, what is it that would push a person to go to that extreme to do something like that? Like, I can understand. You don't like me. You don't like what I'm saying. You can either debate me or you can just tune out. You know, it's that simple. When it comes to you're going to go and take it upon yourself to, you know, try to come after me on a personal level or a family member or a friend, like, why? What? I don't know what makes them cross that line. Like that.
You know, there is such a thing. You might hear people say that, and it's not always the case. But there is such a thing as paid trolls. And like I've noticed, like now I've noticed this in the vaccine and the medical health freedom movement. There's this guy named Orak who writes, what's that blog? He writes insolence. Respectful Insolence, and there's another one. I think it's Science-Based Medicine. Horrible human being. So basically, and I have screenshots because I went in and found the thread and I screenshot it. But he was basically telling people to lie about their kids that were injured, or that were injured because they didn't get that died from not getting vaccinated, to pretend like they're anti-vaxxers. And then he was saying stuff like, like the more graphic the better, because you want to play on people's emotions. They don't want logic. Like logic doesn't work. Just make up a story and make it very like graphic to scare people, because like that's what you want to do. Basically, he was told people to do that. So what I think happens in those cases, they'll hire a few people who are good at corralling, and they'll just stay home, and they have multiple accounts. They'll have like sock puppet accounts, and they'll go around, and they'll like jump on they'll find whatever's trending and they'll jump on, right? Or they'll hide in social media groups pretending to be, you know, the opposite of what they claim to be. So they'll hide there, and then they'll wait for people to post stuff, and then they'll gather information and dox them and harass them that way. Yeah. You know, so I take doxing and stuff very seriously because and doing that stuff, because I know I've known people too that have done that, and you know, have had CPS called on them or been harassed, had their kids harassed or their families harassed as a result of that. So But yeah, so that's how the paid troll thing works. They do that. They'll hire certain people, and then they'll create groups, and then they'll get certain people to join the group, and then the leaders of that group will get people be like, hey, come on this page and harass this person, and let's gather the gang stalk them, and blah blah blah. I did some I was on this site called Teachers Pay Teachers. I'm still on there. But I haven't really messed with it for a while. And you basically can make lesson plans and stuff, and other teachers can buy. So I made some resources, kind of like showing the opposite side of things. I made one on like vaccines. I did one on marijuana. I did one on GMOs, and I did one on, I forgot. Anyway, I posted it in a group, and those motherfuckers came to my professional teaching page and harassed me for like a week. Got all of their friends to come and like downvote all my scores, and just like, and I was fighting them all by myself. And then I had to ask, and I don't really like to ask people to come and comment for me, because a lot of my friends, I don't really pull them into what I do, like, you know. And I was like, hey, could you please just come and like write me a good review, because these people are like, I really worked hard on this, and, you know, I'm trying to make money, and, you know, these people are coming and leaving me bad comments and stuff. And I also contacted the company, and they didn't even want to like, they didn't show me any support, because they were just like, oh, well, it's pseudoscience. And I was like, yeah, you didn't even read what I wrote. You didn't even check my links. Like, some of those links are like from like prominent science magazines that I'm using to back up what I say. But whatever, you know, whatever. But I did have to say, I got a really nice, I actually sold one and hadn't sold one in a while, and I got a really nice compliment from a teacher saying that she was looking for a resource like that. So it's hard for her to find, because most people, they have that mainstream narrative, you know, and it filters into the education system.
That's insane. Yeah. Wow.
Sorry, I feel like I talk way too long.
No, that's fine.
I invited you to my channel, but I'm talking, so I'm just going off. But, so what else? Like, so you're off the plantation. You're not going back. Your friend woke you up.
I'm upsetting a lot of people by being conservative and talking about stuff. Like, I've done a lot of car vlogs where I'm talking about, you know, I wish black people would stop acting like victims, because of, if you really break down all the stuff that we kind of have advantages over, I mean, we can be racist without people calling us racist. Yeah. You know, we can, you know, we've got affirmative action, even though the why it was set in place was to destroy us. But I mean, we can get in colleges.
Oh, it was? I don't know about that. Could you explain that? And well, first of all, wait, hold that thought just before. Affirmative action is fucked up on all different levels. Because I've taught in South Central, and I've taught all the way from South Central to a Chinese private prep school, and it's bad for the Asians too, because they basically sacrifice their lives studying, yet they get points taken away because they work the system so bad. So that made me mad too, because I was just like, well, my kids, they're like, they don't have a life. They're sacrificing their childhood to get perfect scores in the SATs. They're studying all the time. You're going to take points away from them? That's ridiculous. Yeah.
You know, and that's some of the things like I brought up to people when they're saying like, you know, oh, we're oppressed, we're this, we're that. I'm like, but affirmative action puts you basically ahead of everyone else, because you don't have to work nearly as hard as an Asian, a Hispanic, or a white person, because of how this is set up.
But the thing is, teaching in South Central, it's messed up on that end too, because there are not a lot of resources, right? Yeah. And I think one of the reasons too why Asians are so successful academically is because they have a support system in a community. Black people don't have that. And if you're in a gang-ridden neighborhood, like, you're not even trying to study, you're worried about survival. Like, how can you study and be in a good state of mind and not suffer from PTSD when there are bullets flying over you all the time? So it's just a messed up situation. But could you explain to me how you're saying that affirmative action, you said, was meant to destroy us?
I feel like it is, because
as black people or as an American people, or
I think initially for black people, but I think it's gotten to the point where it's creating very defined racial lines of where to put people categorically. But you know, it really did start with LBJ, or Lyndon B. Johnson, you know, his way of destroying the black, the black community. So it was his famous quote that he'll have these ends voting for the next Democrats for the next 200 years. And lo and behold, what has it been, 60, 70 something years now?
Yeah.
Nearly 80. And it's kind of true. He's gotten over half, a good portion of that going. And it's basically to destroy the family unit. Now you've got the women staying on the welfare, popping out kids, not getting married. And you got that, and then making companies, with that came with the equal opportunity employment. Now you're forcing them to, like, companies have quotas where they have to hire black people or minorities, regardless of skill level. So it's
that's bad. That's bad on so many levels, though. Because it takes the company's quality down. And then if it's something like where they really need to have skill in order to, maybe to create a better product or make a situation that's better. What am I trying to say? Anyway, it's just bad because it's also like messing it up for everyone.
Yeah.
I was listening. We were talking about war and how there shouldn't be women in the field and fighting. And I'm just like, I kind of have mixed feelings about that because I don't want to say women can't fight, but at the same time, if it is proven that men are physically stronger and better in those situations than physically fighting, I'm not saying that women couldn't be in the military, but if you're gonna fight a war with somebody, I would rather have a strong army or defense, than have be politically correct. That's what I'm saying. I want to win. I want to win war. So I don't know what I really can't speak to that situation because I'm not in the military and I don't really understand how that works. I don't know if there are advantages or disadvantages to being women in the military as far as physically being able to fight. I know there are a lot of women that can fight, but I don't know what other. I know there's more to it than what I'm just saying, but I was just kind of using that as an example.
No, that was a good one.
Where being PC doesn't serve you, where people don't want to get their feelings hurt. A lot of people have been babied. Like I was seriously bullied when I was younger. So sorry, all these quirks. Anyway, I was seriously bullied when I was younger. And I feel like that made my skin thicker.
Yeah.
Because of that. But I also, the whole approach to bullying too is like that's messing us up, because they're not teaching people how to stick up for themselves. They're trying to shame the bullies into not bullying people. Like when does that they're gonna watch the movie and the PSA announcement and be like, oh my God, I'm really hurting someone's feelings. Like, who knew? Like, I'll stop immediately. Like, said no bully ever, right?
Right.
Gosh darn it, I didn't know that I was, driving this person to suicide. Like they don't care. Like when you're bullied, they don't care. And kids they don't really, I think for the most part, they don't think that people are gonna maybe kill themselves, but shaming, that's not going to do anything. And what makes it even worse, if you're a person that's not taught to stand up for yourself as a kid, when you become adult, adults are still bullies. Bullies don't just happen in school. They're adults that bully other adults. And if you don't know how to stick up for yourself, you're screwed. Yeah. You're screwed. Because then who are you going to call? You can't call your parents. You can't call you're going to keep tattling on your boss. Like, what are you going to do? It's ridiculous.
That's very true.
Were you bullied, or did you bully?
Oh, I was the one that was bullied. I was bullied by majority of my siblings. I was, because I was homeschooled from fourth grade all the way up into So because I was homeschooled from like fourth grade all the way up to college, I lacked the social aspect. Like academically, I was fine. Like I went to college at 15.
Oh, I mean, I would want to homeschool my kids. You didn't get any extracurricular activities though? or anything? You just stayed
No,
like,
because like the area I lived in was a ghetto. So there's like constant gang stuff, there's constant shooting. So my mom's
oh,
thing was to just keep me, um, keep me at home, keep me in the library, keep me reading books,
yeah. That
read
was my mom's thing
novels.
too. I mean, I was at homeschool, but mom was always like, "You're gonna do something." Same thing, basically, your mom did. You're gonna, yeah. But
Her
I'm sorry, go on. But what?
No, I was gonna say like, and her thing was like, when the opportunity is available, you're gonna get the hell away from here, from Memphis. So, I came out here to Hawaii. I was 15 and went to college at Chaminade University, and I was so terribly bullied my entire 4.5 years there. My freshman year was pure hell. I got blamed for stuff
Yeah,
that because I was socially awkward.
yeah, yeah.
I got blamed by this one popular girl for saying she had AIDS or something. I didn't even know who she was.
I got accused
But
of stealing my roommate's ring too. Like I was just very, yeah. I'm sorry. So so this girl said you had AIDS, or wait, you said she had AIDS, or she lied and said
yeah,
that you said she had AIDS.
yeah. She lied, and it was her gay friend that said that about her. But because she confronted him, he just, because I was the ostracized person, he just threw the blame on me. And I was getting my ass beat up every other day.
Damn.
I got kicked out of one of my first dorms. The whole residential life turned on me. Then I got put in this other dorm with a bunch of jocks, and this one jock used to beat me every other day, broke both my legs and my
Oh my
arms,
God.
and
Jesus.
threatened me like, "Oh, I'll kill you if you report this." And I was bullied by the dean because the dean hated my mother. I guess they have
Damn.
history. Like,
Damn.
college for me was pure hell. I hate Chaminade University. I'm not afraid of saying the college names because fuck that place.
My hell years were junior high. And you know what? It was junior high and parts of college. Cause see, but as a woman, like so, junior high I was physically bullied, and then when I got into college, I was psychologically bullied. Because
Hmm.
then I wasn't so awkward, and I started to blossom, and then you get the mean girl effect shit. Where girls like try and destroy your life just because their boyfriend looked at you one time.
Wow.
Just stuff like that. So yeah, I had a girl. She accused me of stealing her ring when she got drunk and it fell behind the dresser. I'm like, I don't even like gaudy jewelry. I like hippie jewelry. But anyway, I digress. Stuff like that. And just women will like spread rumors about you though. And, black women will beat you. White women, Asian women, black women, Latina women, they will beat you. But I know I'm being general, people. I'm just saying my experience, okay? And then Asian women and white women, they'll be manipulative and lie and destroy you that way. Just straight
I've
up a
seen it.
lie. Like not even like, oh, it was a misinterpretation. She heard something. But like no, they'll make like it was the first time too. I had this girl lie on me. She made up a story about me that I said something about this guy, and I was just and she specifically asked me something.
Hmm.
And I told her no, and she went and back and said the opposite of what I said. So I know that it wasn't like a misunderstanding. And I was just like, she just made it up. Because sometimes you try to get people the benefit. You're like, oh, maybe they heard it wrong, or maybe they misinterpreted something. No, she just straight up. I'm like, you can do that. You can just make stories up about people and that are a lie, and other people believe it.
And there's like no qualms whatsoever.
Yeah, well, those are called sociopaths. So people that are sociopathic, you know, that do that stuff. And there are people that exist like that. They'll run over anybody just to get their way. And you would think that those people eventually get it. They get it. Sometimes it seems like they won't get their just due, but I think, but then I look at the Rothschilds and all the elite, and I'm like, they've been they never die. Like, when are they dying? You know what I mean? Like, they're just around. They're just here. They're still living. You would think, you would like to be like, oh, they're gonna, get it one day, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely would. Like, I know for me, with how badly I was bullied, and to the point where, um, it's kind of amazing that I was able, because I got bullied so bad that I got caught up in some stuff. I got kicked out, then brought back to, I was able to get back into the college. Then I graduated, and then, everyone's whole thing was, oh, Mekel's, he's just a weirdo. He's not going to ever be anything in life. And then here I am now. I'm
Aw.
making, I have a career. I'm close to making six figures, and everyone else I know that were supposed to be something are nothing.
Yeah, I never had the gall and to say that somebody's never going to be anything, because you never know. Even the people that bullied me, I never was like, oh, they're never like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, you never know.
Yeah.
That's just wow. Good for you. That's really inspiring. That's
I
really
mean,
inspiring.
it's just amazing because I'll run into a lot of them now. Then they're like, "Oh, can you give me a job where you work, or can you help me out with this?"
Oh
And I'm
yeah, they
like,
want to act like they never like push you down a flight of stairs or something. Like that happened to me. Like they want to act like they never hit you in the head with like a textbook for no reason. You
I'm
know?
like, yeah, I'm like, are you serious? I'm like, wait,
Like,
what?
don't you remember what you did to me?
They're like, oh, that wasn't me. I'm like, I'm pretty sure the motherfucker looked like you, but
I had one guy that bullied me. We reconnected later, and I was in a period of my life where I was trying to be, and I'm not perfect at it, but I do try and practice forgiveness and not holding grudges and holding on anger, because I think that's it's unhealthy, right? Even if
Yeah.
I'm not saying we have to be best friends, but at the time, I was like, okay, I'll still be Facebook friends with you, and I'll still be this blah blah. We ended up going out to like lunch and stuff, and then no, I invited him over, and I cooked lunch for him. Because I was just like, oh, I know him. Like, I wouldn't have done that for a stranger, but with him, I was like, oh, we'll just catch up and it'd be cool. But then he started like, I had to like get the police to actually have him to stop calling me, because it was just getting crazy.
Oh my
And I was like,
goodness.
but you used to bully me. Like, the bats, now you want to be like, like a stalker? Like, like, and then some people will like hit me up on Facebook, like, hi. I'm like, yeah, you fucking, push me down some stairs. You know, like how it is in junior high. Well, I don't know. You said college was that like in college when you get beat up? Like you're just like,
Yeah.
going to class, and you're just like, oh, like what happened?
Yeah.
Like people, I don't know. And then they act like they're like, how do they not remember all the bad stuff? When you just something that bad to people, like, how do you not remember what you did?
Yeah.
You know?
That's I mean that's a question that I've actually asked a lot of them. They're like, "Oh, well, we were just kids." I'm like, "No, no."
Yeah. You know what? You know who were just kids too? My friends that were nice to me were still friends. You know what I mean? Like we
Yeah.
were just kids too. Like they still, the difference between right and wrong. Don't give me that stuff, because you basically do unto others as you have them do unto you. It's not rocket science. If you don't want to get hit in the head with the workbook while you're like, like listening to music, walking to class, then don't do that to any other person. That's it. It's plain and simple.
I
Yeah.
will say the one positive about that is it actually pushed me to get out of my awkward bubble. I mean, I'm still awkward. A lot of people don't even believe it, but I tell a lot of people I'm very much an introvert and I'm very shy. But they're like, "Oh, but you do YouTube and you sing, you do this, you do that. You're very
You
outgoing." I say,
sing?
yeah.
No, I sing too.
And they're like,
Okay, finish that thought, and I want to say this, and I guess we got to wrap up soon. Finish that thought. I want to say something though when you said you sing.
so I tell them, I say, you know how much effort it takes me to? I'm like, they're like, oh, but you're Mekel Kassanova. I said, I had to create that persona and fake being confident until the
Yeah.
point it just became natural. Like this persona has now become who I am.
Yeah. Fake it till you make
So
it. Fake it till
yeah.
I got it. I got into the arts. I got into acting, and I play instruments and stuff too. But I originally got into acting because I was really shy to speak in front. Now I'm really blessed. I'm really grateful. Like now I can do YouTube videos and all this stuff, pretty easily, and speak in front of people pretty easily. But before that, I was terrified to do that.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of work. I worked on myself a lot of inner work to get to this point. So, but you said you sing. April's my friend that runs a channel with me who's not. She also homeschools her kids too, by the way. But she makes sure, like, they're now, maybe because it's becoming a little more popular again, there are homeschooling groups that she meets up with and does things with. So her sons get, or her children get, they get the social benefits of, or they get the social aspect that they're lacking from being in at home. So they do that. But singing, okay, why? So April and I have always talked about this too in our podcast. Okay. It seems like the most awake group of artists are comedians and musicians.
Because we can talk about our pain. We can relay it through music.
But you can kind of say that acting can be cathartic in that way too, and painting can be cathartic in that way too. But there's just something about musicians and comedians that seem to have some kind of window or observation or something that makes us more aware or sensitive to things and how they really work, as opposed to other forms of art. It just seems like there are just more musicians and comedians that are more awake, so to speak.
Yeah.
So when you said you sing, I sing. Uber guy, I'm going to interview him. He sings. Another one of my friends, he's a musician. Another one of my friends, Akil, I'm going to interview him soon too. He sings and raps and produces music. There's something about musicians.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting. So that's why I was like, what? When you said that. Anyway, okay, so a closing question, and then we'll start wrapping it up.
Okay.
What do you want to see? What is your image of America for the future? What do you want to see America in the future as?
That's a hard one, because I don't think it would ever happen. But I would like to see.
Set that intention. Who knows?
True.
Wait.
Before
you say that, remember this too. In order for a change to happen in that way, you're going to have an intention. You're going to have to have an image in your head of what you want it to be, and not dwelling on the image that it is. You're going to keep, we're going to keep manifesting that as society. So what do you want to see, whether you think it's impossible or not?
Very true, because what you focus on expands. Law of attraction is very true. I'm a big proponent of that too.
Yeah, me too.
I would like to see, and I'm gonna try to break this down as best as I can, American pride return, in the sense of, we're proud that we have freedom. We respect and cherish the fact that we are able to do things that people cannot, our basic human rights that we have that are protected by our laws, our constitution, our free market of being able to create and build our own businesses and be, the catalyst for our own successes and failures. Like, the fact that we have that in other countries, they don't. And the pride, and respect for those who have fought, not the shady government, but, the people who have the good intentions of trying to protect, us as American citizens, like the respect for, our servicemen. Like, I just wish there were because I feel like there was a generation where there was American pride, and it's dead now.
You know what it is? I think, though, people get the shady government collapse with the people who are manipulated into fighting for them. Because I was kind of like that. I was kind of, not totally, but sorry, military people, I'm not like that now, but I was kind of like that a little bit. Mm-hmm. Just because, like, but then I realized how deeply the military art was manipulated, and how much they're enslaved as well, and how much there are really a lot of good people in the military that really are, like, putting their lives on the line for us. And it's not just the military, of course. There are lots of people that are doing really good things in society, and some of the stuff you don't even know, what people are doing. But I think that's the thing. I think that they don't know, and that this is where you have to talk about stuff like the deep state and the elite and the globalists, because that's the thing that really makes you get a big picture. because I talk to people about some of this stuff too, and they're like, oh, well, why do we have to say that there's somebody that rules us? It's like, well, no, because you need to get the big picture of what's really happening to understand how all the pieces fit together. So, all right, I guess that's it. Do you want to plug anything?
Yeah. So, and as you guys know, I'm Mekel Kassanova. I'm the self-proclaimed Hawaii's favorite YouTuber. I'm not the only, but I think I'm the best just because, hey, I mean, it's a moniker I like to take. It's
Are
marketing.
you amazing? You're amazing! Yeah.
So yeah, you guys can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Just look me up, Mekel Kassanova. That's Kassanova with a K.
I'll put it in the links too. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, go ahead. And I also have a podcast on iTunes and Google Play called The Kassanova Podcast, and it's kind of similar to this format where I do interviews and I talk with different people. So if you guys want to check it out, there you go.
All right, yay. Okay, well, I'm glad we finally got to do this. Hopefully they can hear you this time. By the way, I'm in YouTube jail for 2 weeks, so I won't have my stripes. I won't be able to put this up right away. I can't post anything. So unless you want to take this and post it on your channel, but other than that, I gotta wait. You gotta wait again. I feel like you've had to wait the longest for all of your interviews. I'm sorry. I can post it on DTUBE or Steemit or GitHub or something, but it won't be on YouTube for like another. I think I might have another week and a half.
I have to say, I'm really becoming annoyed with YouTube in the sense that I've gotten to the point now, like if I talk video games, it's monetized. The minute I put anything that's conservative, says Trump, or is anti-democrat or liberal, like, I don't know, like, it's almost like people don't get any notification, or it just, like, tells me immediately, it's not safe for advertisers. I'm like, I'm not even monetizing these videos.
You know, Kevin, go talk to Kevin about that. I'm frustrated as well. I've been just getting flagged. And the 2 videos I got flagged for were both talking about false flags and how the media expects us to believe they're like shoddy like stories with holes in it, and how they think we're stupid. So I think, and I was getting, and the second video I made that got flagged like that, it got like 5,000 views in one day, and a lot of comments were like, yeah, like we don't believe this either, and this is dumb, and like how do they believe, So I was like, they nipped that in the bud. So I'm figuring out how to get around that, because I'm really enjoying you and other people I met in the YouTube community. I don't really want to leave, but I've also made plans to just be set up other places in case, because I'm not going to, I'm going to have to kind of chill out and figure a way around it, but I'm not going to stop saying what I'm going to say.
Get on Twitch too, because I don't think Twitch has as heavy of a regulation as YouTube does.
Twitch? Okay, I'll check that out. I'll check that out. I'm so glad we got to... Oh, I'm sorry, what?
I was going to say, like, I know the next time I do a video, if I get a Make America Great Again hat, if I just wear the hat to the thumbnail, I'm probably going to get flagged.
Yeah, I joined the NRA, and when you join, they ask you, do you want, like, a duffel bag, a hat, or a knife? So I want the hat. I already have a knife. I already have a duffel bag, so... I was thinking about too. I was like, what if I wear that hat in the video? Like, are they gonna? I got a tip from someone in the army, or I don't know if he's the army, he's the military, but he was saying that the algorithms that they use to flag people are sound algorithms. So you can say certain words that are sensitive. You could. You can either bleep them out or whisper them or not say them. Okay. So maybe try if it becomes an issue and you want to get around that. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm thinking about I don't know. I want to be able to do what I want. I want to curse. I want to do whatever. I want to say who I think is stupid, and it's annoying. Yeah. It's just I'm freedom of speech. I love it. Anyway, all right, guys, Mekel Kassanova, we got to wrap this up. Don't hang up, Mekel, because I'm going to say something if we're done, but after I stop it. But peace, truth, love you guys. All right, bye-bye.
See ya.